Spotlight on Frazee is sponsored by these community-minded businesses and organizations. United Community Bank, an independent family-owned and operated bank committed to empowering customers to achieve their financial goals. Member FDIC. Frazee Family Foods, what a hometown grocery store should be. Friendly staff, family-owned, and a wide variety of groceries to fulfill your needs.
Welcome to Spotlight on Frazee. I'm your host, Hank Ludke, and I'm here today with Pastor Ed Borchardt of the Frazee's Bethlehem Lutheran Church. Welcome, Pastor.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. And now you've been here since the first of the year.
January 1st I started.
And now you don't live in Frazee yet, though.
I'm living here most of the time, but I still have a home in Henning where my wife and our daughter Rachel, who's a junior in high school, is finishing up. So I do a little bit of commuting, but most of the time I'm here.
Well, and I understand that, when you have a child that's so close to graduating, you really don't want to move them out of that milieu if you don't have to.
Correct. She's pretty well established and doing college courses and has her friends, so I wasn't about to pull her out.
No, that wouldn't be good.
No.
And so now, where are you from originally, Pastor?
I am from Abbotsford, Wisconsin, and people know that town by Hawkeye Dairy. So if you go through, you get a big ice cream cone, and I lived about a block from there, so you can tell where I stopped often after school. So.
Abbotsville, Wisconsin. Abbotsford. Now, what part of the state is that in?
Right in the middle, straight across from the Twin Cities, about 2.5 hours.
Okay, and you were talking, that you used to work in Wausau, Wisconsin, so it must not be too far from there?
No, about 30 miles from Wausau.
And what was childhood like besides eating ice cream?
Well, I grew up on a farm, and then when my parents decided to either invest in the farm or time to move off, and so I was in 9th grade, they decided to move into Abbotsford, and it was at the time I didn't want to move either in 9th grade, but it worked out for the best as I got involved in the church, and I was able to do more sports and play basketball. It was a smaller school, so if you didn't go out, you didn't have a team. So that worked out for me because I wasn't very athletic. So,
well, and so was it a dairy farm?
Yes, my folks had a dairy farm, and it was at the point nobody wanted to farm anymore, so it was a good time to move off for them.
Well, and I fully understand dairy farming. I've worked on it myself. I help friends of the family with theirs when they've had hardships and things like that. And dairy is a 7-day-a-week, 24-hour-a-day operation.
You bet. That was one of the nicest things moving off. You could actually figure out what to do and not have to be back at 5 o'clock, or in school you didn't have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to milk the cows or feed the cows before school.
So where did you go from Abbotsford?
Well, when I was in Abbotsford, I started working with the youth group in the church there, Christ Lutheran Church, and then the member said, why don't you go do this full time? Well, I really didn't want to go back to school, but the Lord kind of twisted my arm. So I went down to Seward, Nebraska, and went for training to become a director of Christian education.
That's quite a change from Wisconsin.
Yes, it was. Yep. Now I'm a Husky fan. So, and you better make sure you're wearing red. And so from there, my internship, I was placed here at Bethlehem Lutheran Church 32 years ago.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yes. So my ministry started here 32 years ago, and I was here for about 2.5, 3 years, and then I went to Brainerd. I was called Design in Brainerd.
So who was the pastor here at that time?
Gunnar Heikkila was the pastor.
He was. I remember him very well.
So it's his fault. So I wasn't sure if I should come back, if people, if I should put a garbage can in front of me to protect me a little bit. But no, they welcomed me back with open arms and in a different role.
Well, that's amazing, to start here and then come back, after all these years. And when you were in Nebraska, what did you think about Nebraska? And the area down there compared to Wisconsin.
It's a little more open. A little more flat, not a lot of trees, lots of corn, but overall I really appreciated it. I really didn't want to go to St. Paul and be in a big area, so it worked out really well for me. And one of the blessings, that's where I met my future wife at that time, so very happy for it.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a break here for you people out there in TV3 land, and we'll be right back with Pastor Ed and talk about what's happening in his world now.
Spotlight on Frazee is sponsored by these community-minded businesses and organizations. The City of Frazee and Frazee Event Center, featuring a 5,000 square foot room, a built-in stage, and a full-service bar, perfect for a multitude of events. Call or click to book your event. Frazee Community Club, people and business coming together to make the community fun, friendly, and thriving. Become a member and help support your community.
Welcome back to Spotlight on Frazee. I'm your host, Hank Ludke, and I'm still here with Pastor Ed Borchardt, who was here 32 years ago doing his internship with Gunnar Heikkila, who's a fabulous person. I appreciated him tremendously.
Yep, I enjoyed working for Gunnar. We had a good time here, and he was always very supportive.
Yeah, he still comes over once in a while.
Yes, he does. And I told him he can work for me now. He can be the youth person. So we'll see what happens.
Well, he was great with kids.
Yes, he was. He did a really good job. So I'm filling in some big shoes to follow him and Bill Oftenkamp and the other pastors. So I'm very honored.
Yeah. Pastor Bill was an interesting person. You know, he worked tirelessly with the youth and the football team.
That's what I understand. So now he's doing that again where he's at in Elbow Lake. He said he's going to be coaching the softball team down there this spring. So,
well, I'm happy for him in that. You know, it's good. You know, and he has family down there.
Yes, he does. He's got a son close by, and I told him he couldn't take Amy away from here, though. We get to keep her. So
now, after being in Nebraska and being here at Frazee and being at, it was Zion Lutheran
in Brainerd, I went there. From there, I went to live in Henning, Minnesota, where I worked at Lutheran Island Camp for 4.5 years. Mm-hmm. And then the Lord came a-calling that I should become ordained, as I was working with a mission start in Battle Lake and then doing a vacancy by Evansville. And so I went through the process of becoming ordained pastor, and that was over 15 years ago. And so I've been an ordained pastor now for about 16 years.
Well, you know, so you have a tremendous youth background working at Lutheran Island Camp.
Yes, but they're always changing. That's the challenge of working with the youth, and as they graduate, they move on, and you have a whole new group coming in. So I just enjoy getting to know them, and the challenge is we're kind of looking at the 4 E's here of how do we engage with them, how do we encourage them, how do we equip them, and also how do we embrace them, because they're the church of now, and they got a lot of wonderful gifts, and that's what we want to tap into.
Well, and I'm a firm believer in organized religion because it gives you that moral fiber and background that you need to be able to relate with people as you go through life, and you don't learn it anyplace else anymore.
Exactly. We need the foundation of the Scriptures and build on that relationship with the Lord on a daily basis. And that's what it motivates me. That's what it excites me to get up in the morning and share that relationship with other individuals.
And you talk about, you know, the area. You've worked in all this area down here in Otter Tail County, all the different towns there, Evansville and things. And you've been within about 50 miles of here all along.
Yes, and I have over the years kept in touch with a few people here. Betty Boardman, for one. She was working with the Sunday school 30 years ago. Not to give her away her age or anything like that. She's only 50 now, so. So I was always keeping in touch, and the Hausman family, Pat, has always been a favorite, and others too. So it's nice to somewhat come home and see some familiar faces and the new faces, and now the grandkids and the great-grandkids, and work with them. And so I feel very blessed and honored to be back.
Well, I know we're very happy to have you. We've been looking for a pastor for a few years now since Pastor Bill has left, and I enjoy your candor. You have a good feel about you.
Appreciate it. It's important to have humor and stories and to listen to others, and my goal is that other people feel comfortable to come to church, and we work through whatever issues we have and be open to discussion and using God's word for confession and absolution and receive that forgiveness. And that's what it's about.
Well, and Frazee, you know, has a number of churches, And we usually try to interview the new pastors or priests that come along, and so that you out there in TV3 land can meet these people, and then maybe come to church on Sunday at 9 o'clock and see what else he has to say. Or, your kids, if they're in school here, they go to release time classes, and later on today, this afternoon, this place will be bustling with children.
Yes, it will. Wednesdays are our fun day. We have release time from 1 to 3, and then catechism at 5:30, and soon Lent will be starting, and then we'll have a Wednesday evening service to invite anybody to, and that's at 7 o'clock.
Well, I appreciate you being on the program, Pastor, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity. And I heard there's a guy, Hank, singing in our choir, so come see that too.
Yeah, I'll be down here.
Hey, all right. Wonderful.
And with that, remember, pet the dog, hug the kids, kiss the wife, and wave at the neighbor. The next person you wave at could be your next best friend. And we'll see you next week on Spotlight on Frazee.